In this little video, I'll show you the process I use when I'm doing an oil painting. I start out by scrubbing in the main shape, filling it in quite solidly but quite thinly. I'm using Cobra Water Mixable Oils here, and I've mixed together ultramarine blue and burnt sienna. Once I have the mixture rubbed into the canvas with the main shape of the head, I will start to wipe out a few of the little highlights to give myself a map for future layers. With the highlights wiped out, I reinforce my darks using the same mixture, and then I'll put in an indication of the neck here. I'll be completing the head of this horse in one session, working with wet paint all along. Scrubbing in the neck just to get the main shapes. Continuing to refine just a little bit. If I want to wipe down right to the canvas, I'll dampen my Q-tip. This is a water-soluble oil paint. If you were using regular oils, you would use a little bit of a solvent, but just a little bit of water on the Q-tip will dampen it and take it right down to the canvas. This paint will stay fairly wet for a day or two, so I could stretch this step over a couple of days and still be okay. And of course, if I did not have the time to work on it wet and wet, I could let this stage of it dry once the block-in is completed. So with my main shapes in place, I've mixed up some more opaque colors, and I'll go on with the darks first. I'm still using mixtures of ultramarine blue and burnt sienna. I've added a little bit of white, and when working in the browner areas, I've added a little bit of a warmer color. I'm using vermilion, but you could add different kinds of reds if you like, a little bit of yellow. I began by putting in my dark colors, and now I'm working in with the medium tones. I've started the painting using bristle brushes. I use filberts, and in this stage now I'm working with a softer synthetic brush. And with the softer brush, a little bit of medium. The linseed oil will help the paint flow just a little bit. I like the flats for this step because I like to see definite brush strokes and be able to do quite sharp detail with the edges. Of course, if you didn't want the definite brush strokes, you could always blend the paint a little bit as you go or once this stage is completed. But I'm laying down all my colors first because it'll be easier to work with the paint and easier to judge my values if I just lay them down. Continuing to work around the painting, doing in the final details. I'll pay particular attention to the nose and the eye area because that's where the character comes in on this horse. So I generally put in my darks first and then the medium colors, and then I work into the final light layers. In each area there's still only 2 or 3 layers of paint, and you will notice as I paint I'm just doing 1 or 2 strokes, then back to the palette to pick up more paint, and then 1 or 2 more strokes and back to the palette. And each time I change colors I will use a different clean brush. It keeps all my colors nice and clean and even without getting all muddied up together. So let me give you a look at the finished painting. This painting measured 12 inches by 16 inches, and I was working with Cobra water soluble oils on a linen canvas.